I'm thrilled this morning to be able to stand here and to introduce these three gentlemen. They have a couple of common threads. One of them is that each of them has risen to the top of his profession as the Chief Information Officer of a very high-quality technology firm. And the other is that they're representative of the kind of quality that the Technology Association of Georgia presents, because each of them is on our board of directors. I'd like to start with Todd Bell in the middle. Todd is the South Area Vice President and CIO of Verizon Wireless. He's responsible for overseeing all of the IT operations for this region. He also, in sort of a matrix organization, I guess, is responsible for applications, certain applications that span the entire company. And those are data warehousing, commissions, campaign management, collections, wholesale, and B2B systems. So you can see that his role takes him deep into the heart of the financial aspects of an organization. He started at Verizon in 1997 with one of its predecessors, Bell Atlantic Mobile. He actually, I'm not sure that a lot of people know this, he started out as a CPA at one of the very well-known regional accounting firms here, Cherry Beckert in Holland. He has a BSBA in accounting from Appalachian State. And he's very involved in his community, volunteering for Habitat for Humanity and for Special Olympics. Mr. Todd Bell.
Thank you, Dave.
The second person on the outside is Robert Hendricks. Robert is VP and CIO for McKesson Technology Solutions. He is responsible for the overall leadership of IT in McKesson's managed services. In that role, he establishes the guidance, or provides the guidance, for one of their strategic pilots, which is as an ASP, an application solutions partner, in hosting services. Prior to McKesson, he was CIO at Atlantic Health System up in New Jersey. He started out at Bearing Point, which was in KPMG Consulting. A Georgia boy, he got a BS in Public Administration and Pre-Law from Columbus State University in Columbus, and then he got an MBA with an international concentration from Auburn. Mr. Robert Hendricks. And then finally, Mr. Dan Darling. Dan is the CIO and a Senior Vice President of Technology, Production, and Operations for Turner Broadcasting System. He is responsible for the overall management of 10 key technology divisions, which are the backbone of both broadcast delivery and systems infrastructure. So he's internal and delivery to customers for Turner. His responsibilities include network operations, technology services, studios, broadcast engineering, and all application development. He began his career at Turner in 1985 as a senior post-production editor, and actually he has several Emmys on his mantle in his den. Including an Emmy for his work at the 1986 Goodwill Games in Moscow. Prior to joining Turner, Dan spent 7 years doing lighting design and editing for RHM and Brass Ring Productions worldwide. And the last note for Dan is that not only is he on the board of directors, he serves as the chair of the board of directors for the Technology Association of Georgia. Mr. Dan Darling. I am Dave Chambliss. I am a principal in a firm, Abraxas Business Services. We help business owners sell their businesses. So this morning, in my role, I'm going to serve as a moderator of this panel. There are four general areas that we anticipate discussing. One of those is the CIO's role in the organization. What are you responsible for? What are your challenges there? The second, how does the CIO execute his responsibilities in the face of what's going on economically? The third, what is the CIO's relationship with his CFO? And then the fourth, how is the CIO role evolving over time? We've developed a couple of questions. We have not rehearsed the questions, although they have seen a broad brush stroke of them. But what I'd like to suggest is that we are very open to questions from you. Our role here this morning is to have y'all in the audience walk away with some things that you can use in your day-to-day existence. So please feel free to ask questions as we go through here, and we'll see. I think to get going, I'd like to just ask each of these gentlemen if they will expand a bit on their roles as a CIO. And specifically, it seems as we think about the role of a CIO that there are three broad buckets or three broad areas in which the CIO's efforts devolve. One is technology development, being on the leading edge of technology that's useful for the organization. The second is delivery of technology to customers. And then the third is delivery of technology to their internal customers, to their internal constituents, including the CFO and the CIO's reports such as treasury, assurance, legal, administration. So how does each of these gentlemen's roles sort of shake out in those three areas, and then what observations do you have for your role within the organization? Todd.
Yeah, in my role, he mentioned the matrix responsibility in that I have peers that may have enterprise applications like point of sale or retail billing systems that I have to work through to make sure things get done for our area president. So when I think about my role, I mean, as a CIO for the area, is making sure that all the infrastructure is there, one, to deliver what we need, but two, to make sure that not only am I delivering from a collections, B2B, business intelligence front, but also my peers are delivering what that area needs. From challenges in that I have the business and the BI piece and the data warehouse piece is really taking that business intelligence we have about you, our customer, and turning it around into an actionable event. And that's what I've really been trying to work through. And in these times, getting funding to build a data warehouse that can handle that, I think we've gone a long ways to go from being a reporting mill to actually actionable business intelligence within the organization. From a collection standpoint and a commission standpoint, that kind of really ties to the CFO a lot. Those are treasury functions, making sure we meet the CP&I rules, the PCI rules that are out there, and really integrating, delivering what the CFO and the controller need from us in those applications. So I don't know if I fully answered your question, Dave, but that's a start.
So in that role, you're actually working with the CFO to deliver things that the CFO needs for his own business and for his constituents externally.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so would you characterize your role with your CFO as a collaborative relationship or more task execution?
I would say it's collaborative. I mean, some days it's some days it's collaborative, some days it's task, but most days it's collaborative. What I will say is a lot of the stuff that we've been working on in the last 18 months have been through a series of audits that we've been through. I mean, I've got one application that we went through 8 audits last year in one application. There's this sudden interest in our customer proprietary data, the PCI rules, those rules that are out there that we're having to deal with. So we're spending a lot of time going back and making sure that everything's buttoned down and tight. And those are the more task-oriented things. The other times we're in the room with the CFO to talk about how do we make our commission system more friendly to the users on the front line? How do we help drive the business with that commission system? Those are the collaborative moments that we have with it.
Outside of the businesses with which Verizon's involved, do you deliver anything directly to Verizon's customers?
The short answer to that's no. One of the things we are working on, though, because I have the wholesale systems, we just launched something in Verizon a year and a half ago called Open Development, where we're opening our network. We're taking down the walled garden and kind of the Apple concept, have folks be able to develop their own applications and hardware to work on our network. We're a key piece of that. So I wouldn't deliver to a frontline end user, but what we're working on is kind of a cloud computing concept for folks who want to bring that stuff to the table, and that's probably as close as I get to the end user experience. Other than with the CRM, with the business intelligence, I do deliver contact management with our customers, but that's about it.
Good, thank you. Robert, would you mind commenting on this, on your role?
Yeah, I work for McKesson, which is a $100+ billion conglomerate within North America and actually worldwide, and I'm over the technology solutions division. So basically, I'm in the high-tech arena. I am a CIO with 16,000 employees that are all smarter than me any day of the week. So predominantly, I'm dealing with developers, implementers, people that support software applications. As a CIO, I am focused on non-revenue generating operations within the company. So I'm not a chief technology officer advising on how to develop products, yet I'm helping run the organization. I think really from a technology focus perspective, it depends upon the timing. I think over the past 2 years, foreseeing into the next 18 months, the technology solutions business has been, for the past 10 years, grown some organically, but from a majority perspective, grown through 27 different acquisitions of different corporations worldwide. I am driving really a program right now that from quote to cash, if you want to think of it that way, really standardizing the processes across the corporation, identifying the metrics and how to operate the company overall, because as we've done these acquisitions, doing that many in that short a time frame, you can imagine some of the complexities that have arisen. It took, there's some in the room that have worked with us before, it's taken some time for the company to the point of realization, the complexity of what's actually behind that. So obviously internally, my customer base internally is broken into a variety of categories. Focused R&D, so development. I have development support services, so I run R&D data centers, source code tools, testings, et cetera. And we run it almost as an internal consulting practice. Customer operations, which is our Salesforce, so we have a Salesforce interface. Our services deployments, so groups that actually implement our technologies. And then our support organizations, so think of when you call Microsoft or whatever. I mean, we have a very similar type front with 72 products that we sell in the market today. And then there's the G&A component of it, which is the HR and financial aspects of it. So that's my internal customer base, each of those having not only the unique demands, but also each of them coming from one of 20 plus companies, their unique demands are also unique. Our externally facing component, our external customers, I really am spearheading a lot of the movement around standardization of data presentment to our customer base, either from the operational aspects such as online bill presentment, but each one of those avenues has its own customer-facing aspect. We have developed a single sign-on structure externally for our customers. We deliver a great bit of content about our products. We don't develop the content, but we marshal our product groups through a content process to ensure that it has value. We recently went live with the CRM support function within SAP across North America. And so we not only do that, we do knowledge management, content management, et cetera, defects, et cetera, all those types of things. We present those to our external customers. Is that good enough?
That's perfect.